guys, I'm Lauren Vitale, and on this episode of Lauren in the Kitchen, after many requests for these cookies, I'm finally going to bring them to you. These are little Palmiers, or also known as elephant ears cookies. They're easy and simple to make, and I'm thrilled to share this recipe with you because it takes a handful of ingredients. You're going to start off with something very simple that you might already have in your freezer, and that is good old puff pastry. Now, you always should have some puff pastry ready in the fridge, or in the freezer, I should say, because you can use it for so many different things. And today, we are using puff pastry as our sort of cookie dough. You also need some demerara sugar, or also known as raw sugar, a pinch of salt, regular granulated sugar, some egg wash, which is just one egg beaten with a little bit of milk or cream or water, and an orange. That's it, folks. Very simple and very easy. Now, let's get started. I'm going to take my raw sugar, salt, and regular sugar, and I'm going to give this a stir because I want to combine the three together. Now I'm going to add some orange zest to these because the very first time I had them, they had like a little bit of a hint of orange in them, and I personally like that. But to be honest with you, sometimes I add orange in them, sometimes I don't. It totally depends on my mood. That's why in the written recipe on my website it says grated orange zest optional, but it just gives them something a little bit more special to these cookies. But again, you don't have to. You know that I always happen to have citrus on hand because I am the citrus queen. I love citrus and I love orange zest, lemon zest, so I'm going to add some of that in there. That is perfectly fine. I'm not going to add too much. I'm going to leave that as is. I'm going to mix that in and we're pretty much good to go. I have a couple of baking sheets ready here that I've lined with a little bit of parchment paper because you're kind of coating this in sugar, so you want to make sure you have parchment paper so that nothing burns or gets stuck. I'm taking some of the sugar mixture and I am kind of covering my counter with it, if you will. Instead of using flour, we're going to use some of the sugar mixture. I've got a couple of pieces of puff pastry here. I'm going to put that onto my sugar, and I'm going to use my rolling pin to roll this out so it's like an inch bigger on all four sides. That looks perfect. Now, this is the point where I need to grab a pastry brush, but I wanted to tell you that this is the point where in the sugar mixture, if you didn't want to add the orange, you could add vanilla, you could add spices. I make some really lovely combinations of like spices like cardamom and different things like that just to really give them a completely different flavor. So I can share that recipe with you in a different video, but you play around with different flavorings if you don't want just a plain sugar, but this is kind of the traditional, and I just added a little bit of orange just to give it a bit of jazz. But I'm going to grab my pastry brush so that we could put our egg wash onto our pastry. Just going to use my pastry brush to brush some of this egg wash on the surface here. And this just helps everything kind of stick and hold, and just better, I think, anyway. You can leave it out if you want to, but why leave it out if you can make something better? Then I'm going to take some of this sugar mixture. I like to just use my hands and kind of cover the whole surface with it. You need about, for this portion, I'd say probably a third of a cup, maybe half a cup should be plenty. I just take my hands, my fingers, and just pat that in. Now, starting on like the longer end, you're going to take it and you're going to roll it like you would a jelly roll, for example, right? You want to make little layers of this, and you just keep rolling until, I'll show you, you kind of get to the middle. And I would say we are almost there. Yeah, I'd say that's the middle. And then you do the same thing over here and you meet the other one and you kind of pinch them together. And I just kind of pinch them like so. If you want them to stick better, take a little bit of your egg wash, plunk that in the middle, and that kind of acts like, you know, glue. There's that. Then what you do is you take, now this looks really weird right now, but trust me, it works. You take a little knife. I'm going to just cut off the ends here because they're not that pretty. And then I'm gonna cut like an inch or so. Okay, and then you put them cut side down on your baking sheet a couple inches apart. Doesn't look like it makes sense now, but it will. Okie dokie. Now, I'm going to repeat the exact same process with the other one. In the meantime, I'm going to pop this into the freezer and let them stay in there for about 15 minutes. And then while that's happening, preheat your oven to 375. So I'm just going to pop this into the freezer, make the other one, pop that into the freezer as well, leave them in there for 15 minutes and preheat our oven. I'll show you what they look like before they go in. My cookies were in the freezer for 15 minutes. I have the other tray in there that I'm actually going to wait till they're completely frozen and put them in a Ziploc bag and bake them next time I need them, because I'm only going to need one batch today, but I wanted to make both because, hey, I had everything out, so I might as well, right? I have my oven preheated to 375. I'm going to pop these babies right in straight from the freezer to the oven for about 20 minutes or so, or until they're a beautiful golden brown color, and then you want to let them cool pretty much completely before you dig in. So I'm going to pop these in and I'll show you what they look like when they are fully ready to eat. My cookies were in the oven for 20 minutes and you can see they're beautiful golden brown color. And this, what happens is that when the sugar runs out, it kind of hardens as it cools. But the easy part about it is that it kind of just snaps right off if you wanted to make them look super pretty. But I am going to dig right in because these are one of my absolute all-time favorite treats. And I know I say that a lot, but a lot of things are my favorite. Look at the layers. You see them? They're flaky, they're crunchy, they're chewy, they're sweet. They are exactly how they should be. Go to laurainthekitchen.com to get this recipe. I hope that you've enjoyed spending time with me. Let me know down below what you want to see next. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Mwah. Bye-bye.